Hello beautiful and welcome back to my channel and welcome to this video where we are going to talk about backups, where I'm going to share my thoughts on them. I'm going to let you know what I actually do have in backups, and I'm also going to tell you when I think it's a bad idea and when I think it's a good idea. Spoiler alert, I think it's a bad idea in most cases, and we are going to chat about why. And if you haven't been here before, if this is your first video here, hello, my name is Angie. I am such a lover of beauty and makeup. I love everything beauty and makeup related, so I just want to chat with you my thoughts and feelings regarding makeup. And if you want to see more videos like that, don't forget to subscribe because I upload several videos every week. I did film this makeup look just before now, so I will leave a link to that video down below because that one is already live, and I will also leave links to all the things that I have on my face, and I will also leave some links, if I can, to the things that I'm going to be talking about in this video. So if you're wondering about anything, and if you're like, I couldn't hear what she was saying, or which one does she mean, check the description box. All the info is always going to be in the description box. I am going to divide this video into two different sections. In the first section, I want to talk about backups, what they are, when I think it's a good idea, when I think it's a bad idea. I just want to share my thoughts about it. And then in the second part of the video, I want to show you what I actually do have as backups right now within my collection. I did get this video idea after watching the video that Nomad Beauty did of backups. I love her channel. I love Lauren. Met her in real life. She's absolutely a sweetheart. I cannot wait to meet her again sometime in the future. And she just sparked my interest in talking about this, and I mentioned it to you in a video some videos back, and you said that you wanted to hear my thoughts about it. A backup of a product is basically you getting another one of a product that you already own. Maybe it's your favorite mascara, you see it on sale and you end up buying one or two to have as a backup when the one that you're using is like all out. Maybe it's you buying a backup of something that's being discontinued because you don't want to be without it. Maybe it's you stocking up on something that you know that you go through frequently, and you will be so sad and maybe even devastated if you end up one day realizing that you have zero of those products at home. And that is the reason for some of my backups. The third reason, realizing that I cannot go a day without them, and I cannot just realize one day that I used the last of it and I have nothing at home. That's mainly the main reason as to some of my backups. Personally, I think backups can be a good idea if it's that reason. If you have an extra of a makeup remover, for example, because you don't want to realize one night when you're trying to take off your makeup that you have nothing left and you have to use hand soap. Listen, raise your hand if you've ever been in this situation, because I most definitely have. So that could be a good reason. Or for me, like lash glue. I don't want to be in the middle of doing my makeup and realizing that I have no lash glue. So I can always have something like that as a backup because I don't want to be without it. When I think backups is a bad idea is when we think that we go through stuff more quickly than we do. Why do you have a backup of an eyeshadow palette? How often do you go through eyeshadow palettes? I don't know the last eyeshadow I went through. And I'm just speaking for me, of course. Like, I review makeup as a living. I have hundreds of eyeshadow palettes, if we're gonna be a million% honest. Of course, I don't go through eyeshadows, but even with that in mind, I remember some of the palettes that I bought that I used the most. I didn't hit pan on those either. I didn't hit pan on those eyeshadow palettes. And if you do use a palette so much that you actually use it up, it's gonna take you a really long time, and there is a big chance / risk that during that time you might get sick of it and want something else. And I think that that is the main reason why I would say that you do not need a backup of your favorites, because there is a very, very, very big chance / risk that when you go through that, or when you're starting to reach the end of that product, you're kind of sick of it. You don't want that exact lip color anymore. You don't want that exact blush anymore. You are fine if you never see it again in your life. And that's why I don't get backups of blushes or bronzers or concealers or foundations, even though I do have a backup of foundation, because I know myself and I know that once I start to reach the end of that product, I just do not want to crack open another one again, especially not knowing, and we forget sometimes, it takes a really, really long time to go through makeup. And even though your product might be in a backup drawer absolutely untouched, it's still going bad. It is still getting older, and even though you didn't crack open the tube, even though you didn't touch the eyeshadows, that doesn't mean that time stops. Your backup drawer is not a time capsule where time stops. things still happen. So if you're buying a backup of something that's going to take you 2 years to go through, do you really think that you're not going to find another favorite within 2 years? Or do you really see yourself loving that product so much, so far into the future, dog is going crazy, that you cannot see yourself without this blush and you have to crack into a new one? I feel like there are very few people that are exactly like that. My mom, she will buy the one blush and she will use it up. My mom panned completely a Milani Luminoso. And when she used it up, she told me, I'd like to try something else. Even her. She was like, I love this one. It took her 2 years to go through it, even though that was her only blush. And she used blush every day for work. It still took her 2 years to go through that product. That is something to keep in mind when you're buying backups. That's maybe you'll be tired of it, even though you're loving it now. Are you sure you won't be able to find a dupe once time has passed? So when do I think it's a good time then to get a backup? I don't think you should get backups of color cosmetics unless it's something that you go through or something that's like, this is your perfect thing. This is your favorite and it's being discontinued and it's something that you just cannot see yourself living without. And there's actually a chance in hell that you will go through it. Let me show you one of those products for me. I have 2 of Colourpop Prance. Colourpop Prance has been discontinued. It is currently, I think, available at Colourpop as like a liner within a set. I don't want to buy a set. I just want this one liner. So when this was on a buy it before it's gone sale, you know, the sale that Colourpop has before they discontinue something, I bought a second one because I love this one. This has been my favorite liner for the waterline for years. We're speaking 4 or 5 years at this point. I still use it, it's still beautiful, and I have 2. And I'm happy about that. This was a good purchase because yes, I still reach for this one, and yes, I don't want to be without it. And if they do end up bringing it back in the future, that's perfect as well. I still am happy that I bought a backup of that one because yes, that is a product that I still love. And it's also not super expensive. So if I do end up changing my mind, it's not the end of the world. There are products that I'm like, oh, I love this one so much, I want to have it in my collection. But even if it got discontinued, I still would not go through the one I have in a reasonable amount of time so that I would ever be able to crack into a backup. Speaking Becca highlighters, for example. I have a Becca highlighter, I have 2 Becca highlighters. I think maybe I even gave one away. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. Am I going to go through it so I need to have another one? No. So I didn't buy any backups of that one because even if I do go through mine and I'm like, oh, I wish I had that one, there's so many highlighters that I could choose from. Like, I could just get something else. Because also remember that backups, that is money just sitting in a drawer that you are not using. Spend your money wisely. Don't spend it on things that you might not even get to. The second makeup product that I have that is a backup for me is that I have a backup of the Natasha Denona Foundation X. I have it in 41Y light medium with a yellow undertone. This one is totally unopened. You can see this is a liquidy one. You're supposed to shake it a little bit. You can hear there's a ball in here. This is my favorite foundation ever. This is a little bit too dark for me right now. This is a frosted bottle as well. I don't have that much of a tan right now. I bought this on a 50% off sale because this is my favorite foundation and I think it is being discontinued. So I thought if this does get discontinued and I go, because I have like a third or maybe even a fourth left of the bottle that I'm using, I was like, if I go through it, I'll have a backup, and if I end up never getting to it, or if I end up getting tired of this foundation and never want to use it again, at least I bought it on the 50% off sale, so it's not the end of the world if that happens. But I will say, buying this one as a backup is still a gamble because there are so many new foundations coming every week, and you never know when you're gonna find a new holy grail or when your skin's gonna change. Like, I moved to another climate, who knows, maybe give me a year and I'll have another favorite foundation. Who knows? I also have a backup of lash glue. This is the Duo Lash Glue, the green one. This is a brush-on strip lash adhesive. I have the green one that is, this is like with vitamin A, C, and E. Nobody cares. This is the latex-free one. I do have a latex sensitivity. It's not really that bad, but when I put latex around my eyes, I do get red. My eyes start to tear. That's not really the experience you want to have when you're wearing makeup. So I like the green one that I feel is a really good lash glue. It does what it's supposed to do. It doesn't rip out my own lashes, and it's latex free. Really like this one. The reason why I have a backup is the last time I bought lash glue, I bought 3. One I used up, one I'm using right now, and one is in my backups. When I break into this one, I will buy more of this again, put it in my backups, because lash glue is something, that is the thing that I go through the most. Lash glue and under eye setting powders, that is the thing that I go through the most, because I always only have one open at a time. So I just go through it kind of quickly. So I'm so happy to have that as a backup. Another thing that I have as backups, and this is just me, I have with time found my favorite mascara. These are my favorite mascaras, and I have 3 of them. This is the Bad Gal Bang from Benefit, which is my favorite high-end mascara. I have the Sky High from Maybelline. This is my favorite drugstore mascara. And then I have the More mascara from We Makeup, which is my favorite indie brand mascara. These are my favorite mascaras. I think I've gotten this one as PR, and I bought the other 2 myself. Sometimes I will get stuff in PR that are like my favorite products, especially Benefit keeps sending out like duplicates of stuff, and I'll just keep it in my backup drawer because I'm like, it's a favorite, I'm gonna keep it in my backup drawer. But other than that, having favorite mascaras, sometimes I'll try other mascaras, but usually I will have 2 mascaras open at the same time. One that I know that I love, that is my favorite, that if I'm not filming or if I'm not reviewing another mascara, that's the one I'm gonna use. And I'll have a couple of backups that I can break into when I go through that one, and then I will have a mascara that I'm in the process of reviewing. Right now, the second mascara that I have open is the Bad Gal Bang Waterproof, which I like. I have it in my lower lashes today. It's a really good mascara. I honestly think it is almost as good as the Bad Gal Bang, the original. I don't think that this is as elongating as that one. Still think it's a really good one. If you like the Bad Gal Bang and you want to waterproof, I do think that this is really nice. Before I was starting to review this one, I was reviewing the Rare Beauty mascara. Still had a Bad Gal Bang open at that time as well. I do have an open Bad Gal Bang laying here as well. My favorite mascara, that's usually what I do with mascaras. I'll have 2 open at the same time. One that I'm reviewing and one that I already know that I love. Here's another makeup product that I have as a backup, and this is actually About Face Shadow Fix Eyeshadow Primer. I did buy this one myself, and then they sent me one as PR. So About Face sent me one as PR, and I'd already like started using mine. Mine is over here. I'm making no sense in this video. This is the primer that I'm using right now, and I have a backup. So I started using this one, and I realized that I really like this primer. I think that this primer is a really nice primer, so I decided to keep the one that I got in PR in my backup drawer, because I was like, there's always nice to have an eye primer at hand. It's always nice to have one in the backup drawer. Maybe I run out, maybe I really want this one, maybe I lose it, who knows? For some reason I might need an eye primer, and that is also one of those things that I actually do go through in my collection, so it makes sense for me to have one. Another thing that I go through is setting sprays. It's always nice to have a setting spray in your backup drawer, and I have the Professional Super setting spray in my backup drawer. I actually do have quite a few setting sprays right now that I am using that are open, so this one stays unopened. Did actually get this one as PR as well. I got an extra, so I was like, I know I love this one, so I'm gonna keep it. Had this been a setting spray that I had never tried, I wouldn't have put it in my backup drawer, because then I would have just broke into it so that I can use it and review it. But since I've already reviewed this one, since I've already told you that I like this one, just put it in the backup drawer so that I can have it as a backup if I for some reason need a setting spray, or if I go through the ones that I have. Sometimes I also give away things actually from my backup drawer if someone is asking for something specific. Like if someone is asking me for an eye primer, I'll probably give them this one, because that's sometimes how I use my backup drawer as well. I'll put unopened things there that I know are good, or that I know that I will get use of. That's how I use my backup drawer. Things that I either know are good, there are favorites that I'm gonna want, or things that I know that I at some point will get to. Like the Olaplex Bond Maintenance Conditioner. This is my conditioner of choice. This is what I used on my hair today actually. And last time I bought one of these conditioners, I just ended up buying 2 because I know I'm gonna go through it. I'm almost through the one that I have in my shower right now, and then I'm just gonna break into this one. I know I love this one. I know I want to keep using it. This is the 3rd bottle that I have of this, so that was an easy one to have as a backup. I also got 2 things, and this is things that I have gotten in PR that I've just put in my backup drawer, because I know that eventually I will be looking for something like this, and instead of having to go and buy it, I'll have it in my backup drawer. So it is an unopened eye makeup remover. This one is from NCP Essentials. It's one of those, you know, the ones you shake. I know I'm gonna want this at some point in my life. And then I have an unopened here that I can go to. And this is from Ako, which is a Swedish brand that does skincare. For example, it's sold at pharmacies in Sweden. And this is a sun face fluid. This is a mattifying anti-blemish 50+ SPF for the face. I'm in the process right now of using the Supergoop sunscreen. I also have a Creme sunscreen. That one might be out though. But eventually, I'm gonna need another sunscreen. And then I have one here. This is probably perfectly good for me to be using. So I kept it here because it's like, that is perfect for me to have in my backup drawer, because I know that eventually I'm gonna need one of these and I'm gonna have it in my backup drawer. Another thing that I have in my backup drawer is House of Lashes lashes. Unopened House of Lashes lashes. This is one of those that for a really long time, we're speaking years here, for a really long time, House of Lashes were my absolute favorite lashes, and I didn't really venture out of their lashes. This is the original Iconics, and this is the Iconic Lights, which are equally long, but just a little bit more, not as thick as these. You can see these are a little bit more thick, but they're the same shape. Love this style though. I still think that they are amazing, and I probably like, I'll get to these eventually. I've just been kind of in love with other lashes lately, especially half lashes. I wonder why House of Lashes are not doing half lashes. Maybe they are. Should I go into their website and look? I don't know. But the thing is that with House of Lashes, what I used to do once a year, I used to make a really big order around Black Friday, and I would buy maybe 10 pairs of lashes. So these are just backups of my two favorite styles, the Iconic and the Iconic Lights, and it's just backups that I haven't gotten to yet. And honestly, at this point, I do have more lashes that are unused that I get to. So at some point, if someone's asking me for lashes, I will have a couple that I can give away, maybe even these, because I haven't been using House of Lashes as much lately as I used to do. Maybe I should go to their website and see if they have any updated styles that I would like to try. But yeah, that's how I used to buy lashes, because I was like so gung-ho on House of Lashes, so I just bought those lashes all the time. But I still have more than these two in my backup drawer of lashes that are totally untouched. Let's talk about the last one. And this is not really a backup of an exact product. This is something that I have bought, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. And this is the OPV Beauty, which is a skincare brand owned by Seed Beauty, which is the brand that owns Colourpop. And this is the Bloom Service Rose Cleansing Balm. I love using a cleansing balm, but I'm in the process of using another cleansing balm right now. So for that reason, I haven't gotten to this one yet. I will use it. I will review it, tell you if it's good or not. It smells very faintly of flowers, light pink kind of a color. It has this lid on the top, and yeah, I'm excited to be trying this one out. But when it comes to skincare, I try, even though I will say I'm failing. I'm looking at my skincare right now in the bathroom and it's a little bit of a mess, but I'm trying my best to not make it even more messy, and I'm trying to not break into products that I'm already in the process of using something. So I already have both a cleansing oil and a cleansing balm right now that I'm using, so I'm not going to break into this one until I've used at least one of those up, because I cannot have a million products that are open. So for example, if I were to get another cleansing balm right now, I wouldn't keep both. I don't think. Maybe I would keep two, because it's one of those things that I go through. Cleansing balms I do go through, but like a moisturizer. Right now, I do not have a single unopened moisturizer in my backups. I do have like 5 open moisturizers that I'm using though. So if someone gave me a moisturizer right now, or if there was a new moisturizer being like released on the market, I wouldn't buy it, or if I got an NPR, I wouldn't save it in my backup, because I have enough. Backups for me is, it has to be reasonable. Is it reasonable that I'm gonna get through to this? For example, I'm using the Moroccan hair oil in my hair today. I have about a third left in my bottle. I bought that hair oil 5 years ago. So if I got a hair oil sent to me in PR, I'm not saving that one. It took me 5 years to get through 2/3 of a bottle. Why would I need one as a backup? And that's how I try to think of backups, and that's what I try to convey to you right now as well. Do not keep things monetary value, or do not buy backups of stuff that you're not going to go through the one you have in a reasonable amount of time. A mascara, yes, that's months. That's months. An eyeshadow palette, a blush, a hair oil, a perfume. How long is it really gonna take you? Especially if you're spending your own money on it. Don't spend your own money on things that you might never get to. Tell me your thoughts about backups. Do you have any backups? Do you think it was a good idea for you to get those backups? Was it a bad idea? Do you have any things that have been in your backup drawer for years? Because that is what I see sometimes when I see YouTubers talk about a backup drawer. I see them having things in their backup drawer that they've had there for years. Sometimes even of things that it's not even discontinued. So I try to look at my backup drawer and I try to look at it as like, this is a drawer filled with money, or this is a drawer filled with PR that someone else could be using. Do I really need to use it? Do I really need to keep it? Do I really need to buy it? Did I need to spend my money and my space in my home on this thing that I will never get to? Or maybe I will get to it. That's the thing, I guess. Please let me know your thoughts down below. I would love to hear your thoughts around this. I will of course link Lauren's video as well in the description box if you want to check it out. It was a really good video. I hope you're having a really good day. Please consider subscribing if you want to be subscribed, and I will see you again very soon in a new video. Bye!